Hello, hello. Working. Yes, if everybody could share this, thumbs up, do what you do. Nosy, how are you? Tanya, Jana, little Candace, little Sarah. Hey, Shar. Did anybody get the notification? If you're subscribed, did you get the notification? Awesome. Can you hear me okay? Because I have on a headset and this is not my normal. Hello, Sarah. We have a spur of the moment live. Hey, you truth sleuth. Okay. Oh, good. Good, good, good. Awesome. Oh, Muffin's got the note. Yes, if everybody could share this will, I promise you, this will be an interesting live. I can almost guarantee that one. You might want to get a drink, get your tea. Hi, Leanne. Hello, Kristen. Good time to be social. Good time. How is everybody on this Sunday? Oh, Angie. Hey, girl. Hey. I didn't and let me see the comments, but not the stream. Hello, beautiful.
Hey, how are you? I had to jump in the shower really fast.
Me too. I had to eat really fast.
Right now I'm making coffee.
You do not look awful. You look beautiful. Shut your mouth.
Okay.
So, how are you? What's new?
I'm good. Like trying to figure out what's the best thing to do with this person.
Mm.
I don't want to call him out of his name, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
very frustrating, this guy. And like these are things that are really super serious. And it's like normally I'd just kind of let it slide. And half of me wants, says let it slide anyways. But those are big accusations. You know,
well, honestly, and I don't know if you heard when I was talking about this the other night, I refuse to watch. Like, I know that everything that's coming out is slander. I know it's all bullshit,
right.
you know?
But unfortunately, in the world that I live in, it doesn't really matter even if the allegations are true or not true, or if people believe it or not. I mean, there's always going to be a certain segment of the population, that are going to believe pretty much anything. So, that's one part of the issue. But I think the bigger thing is that, like, I mean, I have big retail partners like Urban Outfitters and stuff like that. And, they were pretty upset about this the last time. You know what I mean?
Right, right. And from a business standpoint, you can't have that. And I think that's what he's banking on is that he can get under your skin and get under your retailer's skin to stop carrying you.
You, I just spilled coffee all over the floor. Once, once you brand somebody a racist, that's what they are. You know, as far as the world is. concerned. And, that really, like I said, it's just a really complex thing, because that's not an accusation that you want to leave out there.
No, not at all. And all right,
Yeah.
so to clarify, do you want to clarify any of that? Because this is your truth. This is,
Well, and not something. I mean, I don't know. Like, it sounds stupid. Like, you're supposed to say how many African American friends you have, or, I mean, people who know me know I go to a black church and most of my friends are black. My boyfriend's black, but does that really matter? Like, at the end of the day, does it really matter? Is it really a concern or not? Is
mm-hmm.
the thing, because we're not talking about people who know me.
Right. But the way that you present yourself, you don't present yourself as, racist or homophobic or any of that.
Right.
So I think that he's just trying to be very damning because he's using and it's going to sound bad, but he's using the only thing that he can use to hurt you.
Well, yeah, I mean, probably, because, you throw enough crap at somebody, you think some of it'll eventually stick. And, quite honestly, I mean, I've spoken to him once. I was nice to him. He was, very apologetic and kept saying, wow, I really screwed up here and I'm so sorry. Why are you being so nice to me? And I was like, hey, you know what? Like, you didn't know. It's okay, but now you need to fix it. And he just didn't want to do that. And so I think he dragged his feet on it. And then, other people called him out, which was not my fault.
Right. Agreed.
And he got upset. And then all of a sudden, I'm an effing B word and all kinds of other things,
And I think that his biggest thing, and this is just from me sitting back and watching, is that if somebody doesn't like him or doesn't agree with him or doesn't get on his little cheerleading bandwagon, all of a sudden they're the devil and they need to be like crucified for the masses. And it's like he's a child having a temper tantrum because somebody doesn't want to be his friend. It's like, stop it.
Well, I mean, that's, I think, pretty much exactly what the issue is, but it's, like, I want to be really careful because it's like,
as you should be. You're not just some person on the street.
So,
oh, you broke up, so I think I was talking over you, so I just stopped.
oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, hi, Yogi. Yogi just came put his hand on my lap. What was I saying?
I don't know, because you broke up.
Oh. Yeah. Well, I think I was just saying that it's like, it's a really serious thing. Like, let's be real. Everybody here, in the chat either has a mortgage or a rent payment or something. And we all know what's going to happen if we don't pay. I have a mortgage. If I don't pay my mortgage, they're going to come paste a notice on the door and I'm going to have to move, like that's how it works. So I don't really know how people can, I don't know, like how that can make me such a terrible person. Am I supposed to carry everybody on the planet? I own a tiny little brand of makeup. Like, I mean, I don't even have Jeffree Star money, much less like, Beyonce money. I can't afford to carry everybody I've ever met, and I did help this lady a whole lot, mostly because, I know how dangerous her ex-husband is. And she would always use that against me, that she was terrified and whatever, so
mm-hmm.
she sued her last two employers. So the first employer that she sued, she was a property manager at an apartment complex, and they made her move after she settled the lawsuit. And
mm-hmm.
she had been looking for a place for a while, but nobody would rent to her because she had had several eviction proceedings against her in the past. So, I mean, here in California, if you have one, nobody will even talk to you. So, like, my house came vacant and I was like, look, I can get 2,800 to 3,000 bucks for this house. I'll give it to you for 2,000 and I won't charge your security deposit, you know, because I care about you and your kids. But I'm just going to tell you straight out, because I know your history, that if you don't pay your rent, I'm hiring a property manager. The property manager is going to evict you. So just so that we're clear, you know, because you're my friend, I'll give you a break on the rent and let you move in with no security deposit. But from there on, it's all business.
Right.
And, you know, so she's just trying to, I mean, clearly she's been plotting this for a while, because we have eviction court tomorrow morning. And I've been looking at, like, going through the paperwork. The lawyer doesn't seem to think it's going to be, you know, the Scopes trial or anything. He's like, hey, you know, they're going to ask a few questions and then the judge is going to rule. He's like, he's not going to listen to her, you know, garbage. But
Right.
I wanted to make sure, it never hurts to be prepared. So I wanted to make sure I was prepared. And I started, you know, doing a little digging and going through all the emails that she sent to the property manager, you know, the text messages that she's sending to me. So, like, for instance, she says she saw a bee in the house. And she emails the property manager and says, look, I don't know if any of my kids are allergic or anything, but I wouldn't want to find out the hard way. And then she text messages me and tells me that her youngest son is highly allergic and that she has to keep an EpiPen in both her purse and on the mantle. So it's like, okay, but it can't be both, you know, it's one or the other. And it doesn't even matter because there shouldn't be bees in the house, right? Simple.
Right.
But but do you see the point, you know, the point that I'm making? And then, like, she texts me and my maintenance man, which, first of all, I told her 100 times, like, please don't call me with your maintenance request. Call the property manager. That's what she's for. Right. So she's texting me and my maintenance man in the evening after hours and says that there's a huge security risk. The garage door won't close and she's having to leave the door open, and the door to the house is open, so just anybody can walk in, and she's terrified and blah, blah, blah. And so Rudy says he'll go over the next day. And, oh, no, you can't come tomorrow. So 2.5, almost 3 weeks goes by. And now, first of all, let me just say that the opener wasn't working, the remote control, but the thing on the wall was working. So she could have very easily pushed the button on the wall, walked through the house, locked the front door, and gotten in her car and left if that was a problem, right? But so what she does is she won't let us go over there to fix it. So we had to serve her with a 24-hour notice. This was the second time we had to do that. Serve her with a 24-hour notice to go and fix this thing that was such an emergency that she's texting us at 7 o'clock at night. And, you know, it's such a security risk and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then Rudy gets over there and the remote needed a new battery.
That was it.
That was it.
Oh, my God.
You know, she's texting and calling us at 9 o'clock at night because she wants him to come over and change light bulbs.
Oh, because she can't do that? Like, I'm sorry. I've rented all of my life. I've never owned my own home. I've never bothered my landlords with anything as trivial. Right. Ever.
Like, clearly, I'm running the Waldorf Astoria. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
But yeah, I mean, it just came to the point, you know, she told me she wasn't going to pay her rent a couple months ago. And I said, listen, you know, that's your choice. You know, she said, well, I have to pay my light bill. I said, okay, well, that's your choice. You know what the consequences are. You know, I'm all about it. I don't hate you for it. You know, I don't fault you. You've got to do what you've got to do. Just understand that it's the same both ways. You know, right. I have to do what I have to do as well. You know, I'm not going to carry you. I can't carry you. And that's just what it is. You know, you have to take care. You have to take care of yourself. So, you know, so she can be mad, you know, all she wants. And she lied on the court papers and said that, what did she say? She said, I'm overcharging her for the house. And she said that because we let her slide on a late fee one time, that she doesn't owe me anything. That we gave up our right to collect anything because we let her slide on a late fee one time as a courtesy.
Oh, I see. That would be news to me. Like, again, being a renter all of my life, never.
Yeah. And then
you were nice enough.
Emailing me, and then she's emailing me, you know, all of this. There goes my train of thought again. See, this is what happens. I need some more coffee. Dude, I'm getting way too old. to
I even had coffee today. I woke up and I was dragging. I was like, I need coffee, and I'm not a coffee drinker. And I poured myself a big old glass of coffee, drank it all, and I was like, okay, I'm good to go today.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to figure out what my next move is. I mean, it's going to be either one of two things. So either, well, there's possibly a third thing, and I want to hear from all of you guys, who have social media experience, because I mean, the first is obviously file a lawsuit.
Right.
The second is have my attorney contact his attorney,
His
and
husband?
well, we can do that now because his husband represented him at the subpoena.
Right.
So we don't have to chase him all over LA or wait for him to get drunk at a bar all day to serve him this time, like we did the last time. They were chasing him for like 6 weeks, I think. I mean, it was a long time.
Wow.
So anyways, now we can serve him at least. Or, my attorney calls his attorney and says, listen, you have X amount of time to do this, this, and this, or a lawsuit will be filed. I mean, in California, I'm not 100% sure, but I think if like one spouse, they've been married for a long time, like 6 or 8 years. So in California, I'm pretty sure if like the spouse knows about the tortious actions of the spouse, which clearly he does because he appears on the channel, and he represented him in this subpoena, and all the facts were laid out in the subpoena. So that I think I could get his assets as well.
You could. I mean, I think well, what does your lawyer say? Because like me personally, I would say, if you weren't who you were, I would say just ignore him. He's looking for attention, blah, 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 blah. He's trying to find his place in social media.
Right.
But you are who you are. So I personally think that you are a very nice person. I would have already strung him out to dry legally, because the first thing you've got to protect is yourself and your business.
Yeah. I mean, I should have done what Drybar did, which is, file a lawsuit first and ask questions later. But, I'm just not that kind of person. Like, it's not what I'm trying to do with my life. You know what I mean? It's expensive to do litigation, very expensive, like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And,
right. But
and,
on the flip side,
years.
though, if you don't get him to like cease and desist and then do the lawsuit, then you might be losing that same amount of money because he keeps going and going and going. And the way that social media is, it's so relevant. You know what I mean?
I'm laughing at Nick's comment.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, press 1 for sue the fucker.
I mean, it's a lot of work for my lawyer. My lawyer is very, very busy. And, like because of all this that we've gone through with the stalker, he was threatening him too. We've become very close and good friends. You know what I mean? Today's his birthday, and I texted him this morning, and he's like, I promised myself, he said, I've been working 7 days a week for months, which he's lying. It's probably been years. And he said, I promised myself I'd take my birthday off. And, can we talk tomorrow? So, so I said, yeah, but I've been just, trying to kind of let him do his thing. Cause when he's in trial and stuff, he's really hard to get a hold of. And then he'll resurface, when he's done, but he knows what's going on. Cause I texted him Friday night. I had just gone to see Mamma Mia with a bunch of the ladies from my neighborhood. And I was walking out to my car, and I got a text from BTS telling me what was, what was going on. And then my DMs just started lighting up. But I mean, there was like, I got so many DMs. I thought, you know what, I should just like, answer questions and hear from people, like what you guys think, because I believe that he wants a lot of attention, and, giving it to him isn't the right thing. But then I can't just leave those kinds of statements and accusations floating around out there. I've done that before. People made a whole bunch of nasty videos about me a few years ago. I thought, what, I'm just going to have class and not say a word, keep my mouth shut. And to this day, people think I'm a bully that hates my customers. So, like, I mean, it's not an easy situation. So, I mean, and the thing with the retailers, I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a big deal because that comes into you losing income, potentially losing income. And isn't that what he said that was happening to him because of his YouTube channel?
Yeah,
So,
because everybody was poking at him and poking at him and poking at him.
yeah, well,
And just like for the record, I did not watch the video. Like I can't stand the sound of his voice. And when you've been nice to somebody and you've helped them, when they really needed it,
mhm.
and they repay you, not thing that feels good if you're the recipient of it.
No, and I get that. I do. And I wish that the legal system was a little more helpful when it came to matters of social media because nowadays it becomes very clouded. Everybody has social media right up to the president, right down to, Joe Schmo down the street and the woman who calls you bingo numbers.
Yeah.
Everybody has it. And it's just so easy to go on social media because you're angry or you may not, like something. Somebody may go on social media later and say, you know what, I don't like Dee's dolphins in the background and she kills animals and this, that, and just make up things and just keep it going. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's there's no real way so far legally that we have found to stop this effectively, you know?
And really, it's YouTube. I mean, the thing is that YouTube should have put a stop to him a long time ago. A long
Yes.
time ago. I mean, my lawyer's been talking to them for months. And the truth is that they could really give a crap. It's like, hey,
Right.
you know what? Say whatever you want to say. Sorry, Yogi is bothering me because he wants a treat. So I'm getting the treats that he's.
Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, they just don't care. And it really should start with YouTube. I did do a little bit of research and I found an attorney that specializes in like getting YouTube videos removed.
Mhm.
And so I think I'll talk to him about that portion of it and, see if they do it.
You just completely pinged out on me for a minute, so I lost the tail end of that one.
Sorry,
I
I
heard.
was just saying that I'm going to talk to this lawyer uh, that seems to specialize in getting YouTube videos removed
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
see if that will do anything. But I have to say, I mean, it seems like the other social media are more interested in doing something.
hmm, yeah. Like, I would say that it's kind of strange to me because YouTube is owned by Google, and they're both, husband wife team, and they
Right.
understand what it means. To get bullied and harassed online is just as bad as having somebody do it in your real life. Because
Right.
it's a constant. Even if you don't want to watch it, you're going to have so many people tell you, and then it's just a constant, and then you want to go see it, and then you need to know what's going on. It's like, you know,
The train, like
I
rubbernecking at a an accident when you drive past an accident. I never do that, by
exactly.
the way.
I mean, I do. I do because I've pulled up on accidents where people have gotten it just happened, and
Yeah.
like everybody will be slowing down and nobody stops, and I'm the one who stops and goes over and asks if everybody's okay and do all that other stuff. But it's just who I am, even though like I'm according to social media, I'm this big bad person who's a witch and whatever.
Yeah,
But yet, I can't.
that's right. Well, I mean, how is it that someone? Oh, I lost your audio.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, there you are. How is it that somebody keeps managing to get Nick's videos age restricted so that they don't get any views? But let me tell you what happened the other night. I got home and my ex-boyfriend called me at 1:30 in the morning.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Hey, I was just on YouTube and this video popped up in his suggestions." And I mean, he doesn't watch beauty stuff. He says, sometimes like he'll tell people about our makeup and he'll pull it up on YouTube to show it to people or whatever. He doesn't know
Mhm.
why it would come up in his suggestions, but it did. So why are these suggesting his video to people.
The tags. It's the tags that he's using.
So, and that's the
Be-
other thing. It's like he tags me and my company in like all of the videos. So
Mhm.
anytime somebody, you know, types my name or types Gerard Cosmetics into YouTube, that's what pops up.
Right. And unfortunately, I mean, have you guys tried flagging his channel for harassment?
Several times. Yeah. I did it again today because I feel like when you call somebody a racist, it's next level. That's not
Yes.
just, you know, that's not just harassment, and that's serious.
Hmm. Yeah.
So somebody made a comment yesterday on Twitter about there not being enough diversity on the company Instagram, and he went and commented on that and put a link to his channel
Are
and his
you
video.
serious?
I'm dead serious.
So he's actively trying to find anything and everything that has to do with you
Mm-hmm.
to try to bring your company down.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Oof. You know, again, I'm not in your position, but if I was, I would sue the ever living shit out of that man. I would
Well,
go in and get a restraining order and a gag order. So he can't comment on social media. And if you get a restraining order, he can't come anywhere near you, harass you, and he can't third party harass you, which would probably
yeah.
fall under the lines of social media.
Well, I don't know. And the only thing I've ever wanted, by the way, was the emails from my stalker. That's the only thing I've asked for, because I can have him put back in jail in 2 seconds once I have those.
Hmm.
And he said he'd give them to me, and then he decided that he wasn't going to give them to me. And I guess he said numerous times now that he has turned them over, but he's not telling the truth about that. So, hi, baby. I know. So, I don't know. I mean, lawsuits are expensive. It's a long time. It's a couple of years of dealing with this idiot and having to watch those videos, you know, in court 2, 3, 4, 5 times, you know, having to go through and timestamp every single, I mean, it's like, I don't even want to watch this video. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, I have no plan of seeing it. I haven't seen any of the comments or any of that, because I know he's got 75 sock accounts that he makes comments. I mean, nobody has that many people that are that feverish with him. But then when you get outside of YouTube, all of a sudden they don't exist.
Right. Right.
You know, because I've
Hmm.
gotten zero negative comments on Twitter, except I think maybe one from Mama Goonie, and and you know, zero negative comments on Instagram, and I've probably gotten, I don't know, hundreds of DMs,
Right.
you know, from
But I'm
people
sure,
I
like,
don't know.
but I'm sure that the people that have alerted you or somebody has watched it with the timestamps. And I know that there's another level to report videos on YouTube. Like
Right.
you could, I know there's another level to do it, instead of just flagging it. There's like a whole other level that you can go and be like, okay, at this timestamp he's this, and this timestamp he's this, and
Right.
you know, and if you keep doing it, they have to look at those things.
Yeah.
And you said he hasn't turned over the emails.
No.
Isn't that like, what do they say in legal terms? He's going against a court order.
Well, not technically, because we went to court on it about a month ago, and it was actually right before the July 4th weekend. It was the Friday before. And the judge said that basically what we would have to do is reopen the restraining order case by filing for a 5-year extension, which the judge said he would grant. And he said, once the case is open, you can do discovery, and I would most certainly grant your request. So his husband told my lawyer that they would send the emails the next week.
And it's been 3 weeks.
Yes. And my
Yeah,
lawyer's
no.
been too busy to chase after him.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's a lot of things that they like to do to skirt around the law. And I personally think it would be wonderful if you reopen that and get your restraining order, you know, extended, because, it's not going to hurt anything. If anything, it's going to make you safe, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's good until 2020 right now.
Hmm.
I actually have a criminal protective order, which is stronger than the restraining order, just because he did go to jail for violating my restraining order. So a criminal court judge granted me a criminal restraining order, which a civil restraining order is very hard to enforce, but a criminal one is a lot different. I mean, it's made for like people who are witnesses in drive-by shootings and stuff like that, like with gang violence, where like, you know, you're a witness to a crime and all of a sudden, you know, this guy isn't allowed to contact you, but all of his homies are, you know, whatever, like threatening you or threatening your mom or whatever. Like that's what the criminal protective orders are meant to. So they're very strong. And it very clearly says that you're not allowed to harass someone through a third party, which is what he's doing.
Right. Right.
And now
and you think
Letitia and him are BFFs. You know, 2 weeks ago, she's telling me she's terrified of him. She ran into him at the Sprint store. I guess he works there 3 months ago. And she texted me. She wanted me to pay for her to stay in a hotel that night because she didn't want to go home because she was afraid that he would get her address from her Sprint account.
Oh.
But now all of a sudden they're BFFs.
Of course. I can't with people. I can't. People are so shitty. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
you're too nice of a person.
He's cute because he is.
Oh, he is. He's adorable. That's why I keep smiling. I'm not smiling over the situation. I'm smiling because I keep seeing your puppy.
Yeah.
I'm just buddy. Like, oh.
He's my buddy. I should have my getting sued mug. I don't know why I'm using this one. Yeah. I mean, anybody who thinks that his husband is, you know, not involved is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's well aware of what he's doing. And the sick part is, and this is what I don't understand about YouTube as well, is YouTube is giving him a check for that channel where he just sits up there and slanders people. And he's getting paid to do this.
Right.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's very right at all.
Well, I don't agree with that either. And after he made the first video, he promised me that he would make a retraction video and donate the proceeds from the AdSense money to my domestic violence center. And I gave him like a whole bunch of resources for domestic violence and asked him, you know, to tell people about them. And he said he would. So, you know, he's not a person of his word, you know, but at the same time, you know, I don't have the energy to hate people. It's not, you know, like it's just not in me. And do I want to waste years of my life, you know, fighting after him is
right.
You know, a question. But then how do I possibly leave this type of allegations sitting out there like that? You know, the first round is bad enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. I think because you are who you are and you're a very nice person and you're a very nice soul. And I get that just from even interacting with you in side chats. You know, I understand that much. And I think a lot of people see that, so they try to take advantage. But what they don't understand, it's not just you. It's not just Jen. It's, you know, Gerard Cosmetics. And that needs to be protected. Right. You know?
Well, and I mean, you know, he makes a big deal about the fact that I talk to drama channels or whatever. Like the last time I checked, they were people. I don't know, because I'm a people too. Like, what's better about him than any other drama channel? You know, what's better about me than a guy who's begging for money on the street? You know what I mean? We're none of us are any better than the other, and that's how I see myself. But clearly, that's not how he sees himself or how he sees the world. You know, no. He's made such a big deal about that, and I find that very telling. You know, like you just don't. I don't know. You show people who you are by what you throw on other people.
Exactly. And you don't, there's a point where you can sit there and you can speak out against something and, you know, it may be something very wrong, you know, but even the person that's speaking about it is still a human, a person. They have a life and it's not, you know, for everybody to view. You know, right. This isn't the Truman Show. We're not sitting here watching everybody, you know what I mean, all of the time. And I think people get that delusion that what they see for that 20 minutes or half an hour or that Instagram post or whatever is their whole life. And then they just keep it going. And it's like, at the end of the day, he has himself up on this pedestal where he can't be touched, that he's just this wonderful human and he's done nothing wrong and he never does. And everything's rainbows and whatever. And that's great if you want to live in your friggin' delusion. Have fun with it. But don't sit there and think you're above everybody else, because you're not. You still bleed the same color. You still cry, you still get angry, you still get happy. Like, stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's always as though, um, everything is somebody else's fault. You know,
Yes.
Sanders made a video defending me, and that's everybody else's fault. You know what I mean? He made that video, I think, a week and a half after Mango's first video. So if he'd have done what he said he would do, which was make a video that afternoon and have it up that night or the next day, and I have, you know, like text messages back and forth with him. I don't know if it actually says, but I think it actually does say when he would post it. But, he's like, then he decides not to do it. How can that be somebody else's fault? You're the one that decided not to keep your word, right?
And
I mean,
and that shows his character. That shows that he's not truthful, he's not trustworthy, and it just shows the character of the type of person he is. You know what I
right,
mean?
right. And I bet there's a lot of single moms in the chat. Does any of the single moms here expect somebody else to pay their rent and carry them? I doubt it.
No. No, not at all. I mean, even me being in the position that I am with, my husband being passed away, like I've never expected any man to take care of me or my children. You know what I mean? That's on me.
Yeah. Well, I
And
don't know. And
especially somebody else, like a perfect stranger, like, hi, I just met you. You want to take care of my rent? Like, no, stop it.
right? I mean, I just I don't even understand that. And I was very clear with the terms up front that,
Right.
I'm doing this stuff for you as a favor, but you need to pay your rent. You're going to sign a contract. There's going to be a property manager. You're going to deal with the property manager. And, that's going to be that because, I've gotten screwed over by people before.
Right.
Many times. And I know her
Mm-hmm.
history. So, Tony wants me to pay her rent. um, you know, and I mean, she got kicked off of public assistance because she got caught cheating the public assistance. So, that's not my fault.
Right. And you were nice enough to offer her a place to live at a discounted price and not have to come up with the additional money that I'm sure it's hard for her to come up with to pay the security deposit. But there's a point where it's being nice. And then there's a point where you perfectly said, this is going to happen from business on. And then, for her to sit there and keep talking about it and then now she's going to make a video the day before you're supposed to go to court. Like, stop it. Like, now you're just trying to get internet famous and looking for somebody else to pay you dime. Like, I
Well,
can't.
yeah. I mean, I know she's got a couple of men that are giving her money. There's one guy, I guess, that has the utilities in his name because she can't get utilities. So,
Oh,
you know,
oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. But I mean, I heard about a lot of the things that were said, and I think it's pretty disrespectful to my boyfriend, to say that I'm sleeping with all these men and, stuff like that. Like, that's not cool. Like, that's not
No.
nice to him,
And she wouldn't know that anyways because she's not in your bedroom. And that's what people need to stop and think about. Like, okay, the only person that's going to know about anybody's sexual activity is the people that are in that room. You
Yeah.
know, like that's what it comes down to, end of the day. I love people that assume just because you say, oh, well, I have a boyfriend or I have a girlfriend or I have a husband or I have a wife or, we went out to dinner on Sunday. Well, that's because this, that, the other. And do you know what they do? Well, you know what? If I
Yeah.
like to shove an eggplant in my nose and spin around 3 times, that's my business.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
I mean, I guess she was really upset that I had let this girl Tofi stay with me. He was Sean's roommate, and she became afraid of him. And so she contacted me, and I was like, first I told her to put a lock on her door, which she did.
Mhm.
And then she came to stay with me, and she stayed with me for like 6 months. But what Letitia doesn't say is that Letitia also stayed with me for 4 or 5 months at the same time they were staying there. The two of them were fighting, and Letitia swears that she was sleeping with Sean, but I mean, uh, as far as I knew, that wasn't the truth, and I don't believe that that's the truth. But and not that I care,
But
no matter to me, get him off of my back for all I care. you know.
Right.
Like,
But I hate when people bring that stuff up. It's like, okay, if you have a relationship with somebody who obviously cares about you, that you care about that person, they're just jealous. So they're going to say anything and everything to try to break that up because they can't stand people who are happy because you have something that obviously she don't.
yeah, I mean, it's that whole like entitlement mentality, you know. So because I allowed Tofi to stay with me for free, which by the way, I allowed Letitia to stay with me for free too. And, you know, I'm not going to lie, my house doesn't suck. It is pretty nice. I lived in a different house then, but,
Mhm.
you know, their life didn't suck. And, you know, then she asked me, like, can I move my kids in? I said, absolutely not. I don't
Right.
like, there's no kids in this house. And, you know, I know that she's litigious and stuff like that. So the last thing I need is her saying her kid fell down the stairs and, you know, hurt himself or whatever. I mean, if you're me, you got to think about that kind of stuff because you're a big target for people with that kind of stuff. So,
Oh, absolutely.
you know, and I just told her point blank, like, no, that's not going to work. So,
And I don't see anything wrong with that. Like me personally, I don't see anything wrong with that. You're protecting yourself. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that.
well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's not my house. Like, you know, she's entitled to whatever. And, you know, I mean, I did help her a lot. But mostly, you know, I just supported her because she said she was so afraid and stuff like that. And I told her, like, you know, when I moved into this house, I went around and talked to all the neighbors. And I mean, we have big properties here, like several acres. It's a walk
Mhm.
to get to the neighbors' places. And I went and talked to every neighbor and told them, you know, listen, here's this guy, here's a picture of his car, you know, here's what he looks like. If you see him, you know, call the sheriff, call my security patrol, and you know, went and let everybody know what was going on. But when I asked her,
Mhm.
like, did you tell any of the neighbors, you know, because she said, oh, he's
And
going
she
to
probably
find me.
didn't, right?
He's going to find me. No, she says she didn't. She's too embarrassed. I said, listen, go see Kim across the road. I said, I've owned that house for 25 years. I lived in it for 8 years. Kim and I are friends. Just go knock on her door and, you know, and she'll be glad to help you. You know, she'll introduce you to the
Right.
other neighbors and stuff.
Oh, for
And
God's sakes.
you know, I mean, I just don't understand. I might actually take a bite. This dog is driving me crazy. I don't normally give him any treats. He's probably gonna have gas later. But
He knows that you're busy and he's just like, I'm just gonna keep staying here. That's okay.
yeah, I mean, and honestly, like if this chick says she has recordings of me, bring them out. You know, show where I said something racist or you know whatever
Yeah.
or
I don't know.
homophobic. I mean, give me a break.
Oh, I know, you're such a homophobe. That's why I always see you in Nick's side chat. Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, Nick is really one of us girls. I don't think he really counts, um, but I
Oh,
love him.
girl, you have no idea.
He's my best friend. What can I say?
You should have seen his makeup bag when we went ghost hunting. It
Yeah,
was
I
it
did a
was
trade
better
show.
than mine.
I did a trade show last month with this one guy, and he is so beautiful, so beautiful. He worked the trade
Mm.
show for me. He took longer to get ready in the morning than I did.
Yep.
Like
I
three
can
hours
relate.
it took him,
I can relate.
and he's born gorgeous, like crazy.
I was
I don't know.
I was there with Nick, and we're there with a mutual friend, our friend Irish, and we're all sitting around, and I was like, oh, are we gonna record? Do you want to record any of this? And he's like, wait, and and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. Like, I don't wear foundation. I wear lipstick, eyeliner, and I'm good. And I was
Right.
good on the whole drive up, like the 4 hour drive up. And I was like, I'm good to go. And he's like, no, I need to touch up. I'm like, shut your face. Like, get away from me.
Yeah, I don't. I can only imagine. Hi, Jamie. Love you too. Thank you. Did everybody see Jamie's video? Um, she at Glowing Beauty One on Twitter, Glowing Beauty Addiction. She did a video asking a lot of questions um,
Did you? I
about.
haven't been able to watch anything lately. Like, legit. My kids have me running. The only reason why I was able to do this tonight is because they're at the birthday party. Like, I got a night free.
Yeah, that worked out good. Anyways, well, I need to figure out like what. what the best thing is. I mean, I don't know if calling him out is a good idea or a bad idea. I mean, it just seems like no matter what you do, you're playing into his, narrative. Because if you
Right.
don't say anything, then then he's just going to keep going. And if you do say something, then everybody's poking at him and bullying him and, blah, 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 blah. But then how do you possibly leave, you know, things like that out there? And he's not happy to just have it be on his channel. He wants to go spread it everywhere else too. And
Right.
I mean, I don't know if you guys know about the dry bar situation, but I have seen all of the documents in that case. He did some pretty vile stuff. He sent a link to his nasty video to 500 stylists from Southern California that worked for Dry Bar. And in the email, he said something to the effect of, well, I guess you guys should have taken me off your email list. And no, I don't want to cover any of your shifts. And this place is a slave factory and other things. And then he said, so I'm sending you this. Whoops.
Oh, he wants another treat.
But yeah, I mean, he did some pretty vile stuff, saying that the video came down so fast. I don't think most people saw it. I never saw it, but like I said, I read every document in the lawsuit, and he said some pretty gross stuff, that they're stealing from their customers, and, that everybody's sexually harassing, and that the place had lice. And, would you go get your hair done someplace where they have lice? And,
No, no.
clearly he was trying to do the same thing to them that he's trying to do to me, only, they filed a lawsuit and got an injunction against him within like a matter of 5 days, which is unheard of. But It was because he had gone after them for some kind of claim. And now some of the documents were redacted, so there's a hole there, but it seemed as though it was a workers' comp claim. And as part of it, they had him sign a non-disclosure, and then he went ahead, of course, and made that. So they were able to get an injunction against him based on the non-disclosure.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
But it's, it's bad.
So
Hey, Beth.
let me ask a question, because maybe I missed that part, or maybe I forgot. I don't know. How is it that he even came on your radar? Like, is he so attached to you? Like, were you friends or?
No, I mean, I actually used to be a subscriber of his. I never like commented on any of his videos or anything. I almost emailed him once to tell him that I thought, because I saw a video him and his husband did about John Cookie, and I thought they were cute together. And my homophobic self was going to reach out to him and just say, hey, I really enjoyed your video. I think you guys are cute. But then I'm like, I'm nobody. Why would he care? So I just went on about what I was doing. And then I turned 50 on January 14th. And I was just like feeling so blessed and loved and everything. And then 2 nights later, I was out with a bunch of bloggers that were in town. I got home late, and I had a DM from BTS telling me about the video. And I mean, I was really upset. Like, I called one of my friends, and I was on the phone with him for like 2 hours, because this guy is very dangerous, the stalker. And the last thing you want to do with somebody like that is give them power or control.
Right.
And I know how he thinks. And, Mango putting his BS story out there is doing exactly that. And so I called my lawyer at 11 o'clock at night, and I woke him up. and and then, I emailed him and basically told him, hey, you don't know what you're doing. Like, this is a serious thing, and this person is extremely dangerous.
Right.
And I need to talk to you about this. And I gave him my number. So he texted me in the morning, and then he called me, and we talked for about 30 minutes. And actually, it was like an hour and 30 minutes. And then I said, oh, lip gloss, you're too nice. And then I said, you know what? Like, I don't want to just slap my gums at you. I want to show you that everything I just told you is true. And I called him back on FaceTime and showed him all the court documents, text messages, all kinds of stuff. And he just kept saying, wow, I really screwed up here. Wow, I really screwed up here, And I'm like, well, you're going to fix it. It's okay. Why are you being so nice to me? I said, well, you know what? Like, look, you're a kid. I said, I'm not a kid, and this person manipulated me. So if he manipulated me, certainly he could manipulate you. Like, don't feel bad about that. It's, that's just what it is.
And so in that brief interaction, he has now felt okay to be able to speak on your character and who and how you are for months now. Because this isn't
Right.
just like popped up. This
Yeah.
is slanderous conversation for months.
Because apparently if you're nice to people and you say things that are uplifting to them, that's somehow a negative thing. I've honestly never had that before.
Oh
I've
my
had people
God.
who didn't like me that didn't think I was nice, but I never had anybody like say and then he said he knew I was full of it because what I had said to him was, he's like, well, how have you lived with all of this? And I said, well, it's not easy, but at some point you have to, this person went to jail. And while he was in jail, I spent that time doing everything I could to make my home as safe as it possibly was. I bought a gun. I learned how to shoot it. I've got bear spray all over my house. I could spray somebody from 30 feet away. I've just upped my security patrol and all that. And I said, at some point, you lose your quality of life. So you do everything that you can do to make yourself safe. And after that, it has to be up to God, right? Because you can only do so much. And
Yeah.
so he said that I was like a Bible thumper, holy roller, which I am, in full disclosure, but I'm not unproud of that fact. But he made it seem like that was somehow, that's how he knew I was full of it. I think he said something to that effect.
Because you're religious.
Yes.
Okay. Well, as a person that has gone through some of my own personal stuff, and to the point where I've had to lock down and be more aware of my surroundings, so to speak.
Right.
Um, you know, you do what you have to do, you adapt, you adjust, and you get a little bit stronger every day because you're taking your life back into control. It has nothing to do with if you believe in God or if you believe in the Easter Bunny.
Right.
No, nothing, nothing.
Right.
That's just who you are as a human.
Yeah. I mean, you have to,
There's two types of people. There's fighters and quitters, and obviously you're a fighter.
well, I mean, you have to get to a mental place where the person isn't robbing you of your joy. And when he went to jail, I'm not going to lie, because he showed up at his ex-wife's place with a gun on night after Christmas, and she was in Minnesota. She called me, and I was like, oh my God, he's coming here. you know, and I
Mm-hmm.
called the police. The police never came. They called me 45 minutes later and said that they had a traffic accident and to call them back in 3 or 4 hours if I still needed them. I'm like, if I'm still alive, I'm sure to do that. And I called my security patrol and they were there in 5 minutes and they stayed. I called my boyfriend, he's LAPD, and he was like, get out of the house. So my assistant and I packed up our stuff and our dogs and we went to a hotel for the night.
Right.
So, um, so anyways, that was January or December 26th. He was arrested on the night of January 10th. I didn't find out about it until the next day, of course, first thing in the morning. The detective called me. But I remember that the first night that I knew that he was in jail, Yogi and I were sitting on the couch and we were watching TV and I heard a noise and me and him both jumped. And I, of course, reached for my bear spray. And I was like, you know what? That's just a noise because he's in jail. So there's no way that he can hurt me, But I realized where my I will mark I realized where I had gotten to and
Yeah.
that I really needed to change that. And so while he was in jail, I really worked on that and just tried to find some inner peace so that this person couldn't rob me of the joy that I have. And I mean, I recognize that I have a lot more resources than most women who are in a similar situation. I can afford security. I can afford to buy a gun. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, no, I understand because, for a person like me where I don't have that type of luxury and I've been stalked, I've been stalked, I've been raped, I've been abused. And when I've gotten out of situations, for me personally, it's, a knife under my pillow. I carry a knife with me at all times. I have,
right,
weapons in my car, so for me, you do get hyper aware of every sound and things of that nature. And I was never fortunate enough to have somebody arrested,
right,
um, actually stick. You know what I mean? So for me, I never had that sense of security, but I have that sense of security when I'm laying with my knife and I've got my stuff around me. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm good. Come in my house, please. You know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I got cameras everywhere and all, all kinds of stuff. And you just have to find a way to live with it. And I mean, it was a lot of work getting the police to take me seriously. And Letitia had said, like, she's like, Jen, I've made like 15 police reports and nobody's ever done anything, And I said, well, maybe now that there's two of us, she's like, well, no, I'm sure it's because you're white. And, she said that to me. But I'm the one I'm the one that's racist. And I said, well, unfortunately, that may or may not be true. I said, I really hope that's not the case, but
Mm-hmm. No, and
I mean,
I
there's
don't
so
think
much proof that
it
our criminal justice system, does see color. There's no doubt about that. So I get it. I understand. You
mm-hmm.
know, it's just like Nick confirms that you carry a knife.
Yeah, he does because when we went to that haunted B&B, I told him on the way up, I drove up by myself through New York, and I was like, oh, just to let you know. And I pulled out my knife, and he's like, holy shit.
Right? Yeah. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, I want to hear what you guys, he's loving the chat. I want to I would love to hear from you guys what you think, you know, is is a good thing to do because I don't know. Like I'm back and forth. Like I said, if if people go after him, I'm gonna have to go after him legally. There's no two ways about it. I mean, he's forced me to have to do something,
Yes. Yes.
And I thought,
I
well, maybe
think
I could just get the emails out of him, and then we could go our separate ways. But you know,
I don't think he's getting too much attention from this, and he's the type of person that if it's negative attention, he's all about it. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's like a 3-year-old.
Mm-hmm. Somebody needs to put his ass in timeout.
Yeah. But then, like I said, I've got it. There's no way that, that those videos can stay there like that. And, people you know, continually see that stuff. I mean, unfortunately, you can't unring the bell and you know, some
Yeah.
people will just believe anything they hear on the internet. It isn't until it's happened to me that things have been said about me publicly that aren't true, that I actually feel for people who
Other
have
people.
things said about them. And, now I tend to say, well, maybe not, if people are talking
Right.
about something they heard online or whatever, I'm like, you know what, maybe not.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Unfortunately, people feel it's okay to just sit here and spew out the mouth without, doing a little bit of research. It takes 5 minutes to do research as opposed to sitting there and just being a sheep.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody says the sky's green today. Well, guess what? Sky must be green today because they said it.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with that. And there's good advice here in the chat, you know. There's no sense in going after Letitia. She doesn't have anything to take. I mean, she is about to get a $90,000 settlement from the most recent lawsuit that she sued her. She sued her last two employers. By the way, they were both racist too, just so you know.
Oh God.
And they settled with her, right off. So she's about to get a check for that. She told me that last week, and you know, I'm not giving him anything, and that's why I wanted to keep this private. Like I said, I've gotten so many DMs that it's like, what, let me just like answer the questions and stuff all in one place. But that's why I wanted to keep it on the down low, just because I'm not, I've been doing my best to stay out of his way. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like I don't comment on tweets about him. Generally speaking, if I'm watching a live or whatever and the topic turns to him,
Yeah,
most of the
you get
time,
quiet.
yeah, I'll just stop talking because, I'm not trying to, cause any more issues, but I can't do anything about the fact that this guy just, I mean, look at his tweets and stuff. He's never going to stop. He's been pushing this video for a day and a half, and I find it somewhat hilarious that he's only able to get 5,000 views with, as much pushing as he's done being a real celebrity and everything.
Well, that's because, his real celebrity ass is irrelevant, and I've been saying that for months. Like, I
Yeah.
can't. I don't watch him. I can't. I watched, I think, one or two videos when he was going for, I think, you and Nick, and I just said, I can't. His voice drives me insane. And I'm a mom, and like I just want to put him in timeout, take away his electronics, and he's
Yeah.
punished. Like,
My,
stop it.
yeah. My lawyer hates me for making him listen to the voice too. He just can't.
Yeah, he's got one of those voices. It's like, oof,
Yeah,
oof.
and then like honestly, like after the things that he said about me the first time, I was like catching myself and stopping myself from being nice to people. Like I would see something I wanted to comment on, and I was afraid to comment because and I was actually like catching myself. No, you don't need to tell that person that's a nice makeup look, you know.
But you know what? Nobody should stop you from being your authentic self. You sitting here standing up for yourself, saying, no, this isn't right. This is what actually happened is not a bad move. You know what I mean? You commenting and uplifting other people, I see all of the time on
Right,
Instagram, you being very uplifting to other women on your Twitter. I appreciate that because there's not a lot of people that do that,
right,
especially makeup brand owners. You don't see that very often. And I can appreciate that. Me being 40 years old, sitting here looking at makeup looks that I'm like, wow, that's pretty. That's really pretty.
yeah,
And hearing the words of encouragement, I enjoy that. So, you know what? I think you should just keep being your authentic self and screw what he has to say and take it up legally. That's
right.
that's my thing.
Well, I liked Nick's tweet about the hairline. Look at what happened.
I
And
know.
I just thought it was funny. I like the way Nick says stuff. He reminds me of my stepdad who passed away a few weeks ago, but he just has a funny way of saying things that is witty and funny. So I would have liked that tweet if it was about pretty much anybody. And
Right.
look, within 20 minutes he's gone off the rails about it. That all of
Well,
a sudden
because
now Nick and I are best friends, which by the way we are now. But
yeah. Well, that's because Nick has a better hairline and he's, better looking and whatever. People enjoy Nick because of his quick
nickname.
wit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his shade. His shade is funny.
Yeah, I thought it was legitimately funny, but look at what happened. So, so since then, and I think I responded back to him because I was just so livid that he was making such a big deal and pulling Nick into it, and
Hmm.
and I just said, look, like, why? What difference is it to you what tweet I like or
Right.
don't like,
Hmm.
you know? And just
But why
like,
is he watching for it? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is he? That's what I don't understand. Like, why is he so attached to all of your social media that he watches for your every move? And because
yeah,
what? Nick
I
is
don't know.
another gay man. He got offended.
Yeah, I didn't block him because that's just not my style. But he blocked me after the Nick incident. After I told him that I didn't want to hear any more of his foolishness, and the last time I checked, this was America, and I was free to like anything I wanted, just like he's free to lie about me.
Right. Right. And that's I don't know. You have way more class than what I have. I would have already sued the hell out of him, slapped him with a cease and desist. Like
Well, we
stop
did
it.
we did serve him a cease and desist. He tore it up on camera.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's nice of him. He is like a 5-year-old.
I don't know. Most 5-year-olds. I saw Jamie's 7-year-old the other night, and he seemed he was a lot better. So I don't know.
Oh, I can't. And I hate that you're going through this. You know what I mean? It's not even somebody that you've had a personal relationship with.
No.
You know, like this is just some rando from the internet and you're going through all of this. And I hate that for you. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, and he's hooking up with somebody who probably, unfortunately, has the least amount of credibility of anybody on the planet.
Oh yeah. Mhm. Well, It will be interesting tomorrow. That will be interesting. I'm almost gonna call how that one's gonna happen because the video is gonna go up
Mm-hmm.
probably tomorrow, and then he's gonna twist it somehow where she comes out glowing, but I don't feel like that's what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like I've had enough friends go into, that kind of courtroom to know what's going to happen, kind of.
Yeah.
So she's not going to come out looking like roses, but he's going to paint it to be that way.
Well, look, I pick up after Yogi in the yard, and you can spray perfume on the poop, but it's still poop and it still smells. So
Hmm.
I don't see, I don't see that working, and I don't see him protecting her because he could care less. It's all about him. That's the
Yeah,
kind of person that
absolutely.
he is. And I don't see him doing a lot to protect her, but she put herself in it. Honestly, like, I talked to her last week and I told her, like, look, it's nothing personal. It's just business. I still love you, we'd still be friends, but this is what it has to be.
Right.
And she was texting me feverishly Friday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon that, she needed all these repairs. And I'm like, okay, but it's like, you have a property manager for that, contact
Hmm.
the property manager. And she said, well, she hasn't called me back. She hadn't called or emailed her, according to the property manager. So I told her, like, look, I'm in the middle of something super important,
Hmm.
but if it's a true emergency, and to me, an emergency would be something like water gushing out of the pipes, or
Hmm.
something that something that is a true emergency, And I said, if
Right.
it's a real emergency, I'll, I'll stop what I'm doing and call Rudy. But, if not, please call Julie, the property manager. And, she sent me this long, like 3-page text, and, you know,
It probably took her the same amount of time to write out that text than it would have for her to go down to the Walmart and buy a 98-cent pack of light bulbs and put them in herself. Like that's what from what you're explaining as this woman, that's what I would see as her classifying an emergency.
yeah. I mean, so I was just like, well, okay, so is it an emergency or isn't it? Either it is or it
Mm-hmm.
isn't. Well, we've been living with this. All of a sudden, it's about this laundry list of stuff that she says she's been complaining about since she moved in. And I was like, okay, great. Then email Julie. And, she emailed the property manager at 5 o'clock, and the property manager wrote her back at 6:15. Like, most property managers after 5 o'clock don't answer email. So,
Right.
I
Unless
was
it
like,
truly is an emergency, like water or fire or something of that nature. Like,
yeah. I mean, I had a flood one time on Memorial Day. And I'll never forget, I was sitting there, I was like, wow, that dishwasher's loud. And I turned around and my kitchen was flooding, So I
and you
called,
couldn't get it fixed until later, I would assume, right?
well, I called my friend who's a plumber, and he'd been to the house a number of times, like the plumber for the house. And he told me where the main was and how to turn it off. So I went and turned it off. And then he called somebody to come out and, you know, put in
There
blowers
was
and all
next
that
one.
stuff to clean up the mess. So that's an emergency, a true emergency.
Mhm. Yeah.
If it's 30 degrees outside and there's no heat, I'd consider that an emergency,
Yes.
but there's just things that aren't emergencies. And, anytime, I'm pretty good about answering phone calls and text messages. Those of you who have my number, if you text me, you generally get a response within 5 or 10 minutes. And, even those of you that DM me know I'm good at that. I'm a good multitasker. So,
Yeah,
so I'm really good about responding to
absolutely.
people. And, if she texts me at 9 o'clock at night, she's going to get a response in 1 minute. I mean, I don't know how that makes somebody a slumlord, just because I'm not going to let her live there for free. I mean,
No.
I know that she has a history of squatting. And if I know she has a history of squatting, like, those are people that you can't give an inch to, because
Right.
once
They'll
you
take a
give them
mile.
in and you don't force them, to pay, then they can actually claim, oh, well, you didn't, you had rights under the contract and you didn't exercise them. And she's even
Right.
trying to claim that because we let her slide on one late fee.
No. No. See, that's what I hate. I hate people like that.
she told the property manager she was going to buy Christmas presents for her kids instead of paying the rent.
Priorities.
Hey,
I can't. I can't.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
But I don't know. Like, I just, if she has all of this evidence and all these receipts, like, why the video was an hour long.
Oh, I know. I saw that. I saw the screen the thumbnail and then I saw the time and I was like, "Oh hell. What is it that you are talking in an hour about?
Like, you think
Like
a lot of
what?"
yourself.
Oh my God. Like I sit here for what, 3 hours when I do my lives,
Yeah.
but it's never one solid topic ever. Like, oh my God.
Right. Yo
I
Daddy says my
can't.
tenant tried to do the same. I mean, you have to be careful. Like, you have to be careful with people, 2000
Yeah.
is cheap. And let me tell you, like, the places that you can get, thanks, Roxana, um, they, the places that you can get out here, you got to have a 780 credit score to get them.
It's like that in Massachusetts as well. You
I
can't
mean,
touch anything under a 720. Like you have to have 720. So it makes it difficult, you know?
so somebody with a couple of evictions, that's not, and I guess she was saying in the video that she's never going to get, that she's never going to be able to get another place. Well, that would be her problem. That's not my problem.
No, not at all. Maybe she
You
shouldn't be
know,
an asshole.
she said she was going to pay her light bill instead of paying her rent. Okay, well, that's your choice. I respect your decision. That's your decision. But I'm not going to, what, I'm supposed to just let you live here for free because I'm all of a sudden like,
No, no way.
I mean, give me a break. Like,
No.
like I said, I don't have Jeffree Star money, for God's sakes. Like,
I tell you what, if you did though, I would be fighting Nick for that best friend title.
yeah. Oh my God, your squatter tried to sue for your house.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw in Jamie's video that she said she was my worst nightmare or whatever. Like, why are you vindictive? I mean, I have text messages from her a few weeks ago, like asking me if I would go to her kid's graduation because she wasn't going to be there, and she didn't want her to look out in the audience and not see any, familiar faces. I'm the emergency contact on the kid's school, and anytime she hasn't been able to get there to pick them up, or there's an issue at the school, one time the power went out or whatever, they call me and I drop what I'm doing and go over and pick them up. So, if I'm such a racist and a homo and everything, why is she leaving, the most precious thing she has?
Right. Yeah.
Me?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. This one seems like a huge manipulator and liar.
Yeah, I mean, but she's not very good at it. I mean, obviously, I felt for her and developed a friendship with her because she and I share something in that only the two of us know how crazy and demented her ex-husband is. So,
Mm-hmm.
but there's always something in the back of my head just saying, don't trust her. So I was very careful in the things that I, would say to her. And I wouldn't maybe necessarily joke around about the kinds of things I might joke around with other friends,
Right.
because you just know. And when you know that somebody is litigious and,
Mm-hmm.
has a history and has made a profession out of squatting and, bilking the government and suing employers and, a lawsuit here and a lawsuit there, here a lawsuit, there a lawsuit. Like,
Yeah,
you
she's
just don't
just
want to be
looking.
the next one.
Yeah, well, she's looking for that free money. Like she doesn't want to work. She doesn't want to do anything. She wants to live off of other people's dimes. So she's gonna lie and manipulate any way that she can to
Right.
get it done. And
Yeah.
that's sad. Like, mm-mm.
It's so ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. So I don't know, but
Mm-mm.
I'm sure that the lawyer seems to think that the proceeding will be very quick and very simple tomorrow. And he's probably right because, I would imagine that if the judges listen to every sob story of the people that come in the door, that
Right.
they only get one case a day done.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure everything will go very quick. Like I said, I've been around when my friends have gone through it because, I grew up in the ghetto, so this was not something unheard of. And
Yeah.
I know people that have gone through it and they've gone to housing court and it was in and out 5 minutes, boom, boom, you're done.
Yeah. Well, she's claiming the house is uninhabitable,
Oh,
which I find somewhat hilarious. Lip gloss, I don't know. My maintenance man was over there last week, and he said that let's just say that cleaning isn't her strong suit, and that the house is pretty filthy, but doesn't seem to be in disrepair. I mean, the house is 30 years old, and the last tenants were a little rough on it, so it's needed a few more repairs than usual this last year or so, but
yeah,
the
but
house
that's
overall is,
that's different than keeping it clean. Who the hell wants to live in dirt? That's
yeah.
gross.
She wanted me to
Stop it.
she wanted a new toilet because she said that the one that's there, one of the toilets is warped. I'm like, I don't know how you warp porcelain. Like, porcelain is porcelain.
Maybe the wood underneath it.
No, there's no wood. It's concrete.
Oh, so how is it warped?
She
Like
wanted a
I've
new
had.
toilet. And then
Oh,
she says that her friend told her that the whole house needs to be repiped.
oh. Well, is her friend gonna go and do it?
And I just told her, like, the house was piped perfectly and built perfectly legally. Do they build houses the same way they did 30 years ago? No. But is there anything wrong with it? No.
No.
You know. So she complained about a electrical problem, and actually there were two problems. There was a plumbing and electrical. She said that the water was brown in the bathtub, so that I have a home warranty. They sent out a plumber, and the plumber goes out there, says there's no brown water here, like, and she has this whole laundry list of other things, and she had him look at like 6 or 7 different things, and he did find a leak in the other bathtub, and he said, okay, he had to open up the wall,
Mm-hmm.
to stop the leak and all of that. And he said, look, I stopped the leak for now, but there's only a temporary fix there. I need to come back and finish it. And so they tried to reschedule with her, and what she does is she'll wait like 3 or 4 weeks to schedule an appointment, or she'll schedule it like 2 or 3 weeks out, and then she'll cancel it at the last second. So that's what she did. She did that to them twice. And the claim from the warranty company finally got closed because she wouldn't let them fix it. And then she's complaining that, well, I've been complaining about this and this hasn't been fixed. And so we called the warranty company.
You can't.
What the heck is going on? And they're like, well, she won't let us in. So I told her, listen, I can have my office manager, who she knows very well. She lets her kids play with Misty's kids, so she must not think Misty's a terrible person. And I said, look, I can have Misty go over there and let them in. And no, nobody can do that. My children are home. Well, why are your children home alone, first of all? And
Right?
secondly, so we served her a 24-hour notice so that Misty could go let the guy in to finish the plumbing. And she did the same thing with the electrical. Because of the leak, I guess, it knocked out a couple of the outlets in the kitchen underneath. So the guy went out there and said, listen, I need to replace all of these. Like he said, I need to replace all of these outlets, and he needed some part or whatever. She wouldn't make an appointment with him to come back. So they ended up having to close the claim again, and then we have to call and reopen it, and blah blah. And then she's complaining about ceiling and this and that. Okay, but you won't let the guy in to fix it.
Right. Like you need to have that person. The way the normal people work is you let the person in, they see what's wrong. If they can stop anything temporarily, they do, or they fix it temporarily, and then they come back within a couple of days, maybe a week, because might want to get a part.
Right.
And then you let them in so there's no more damage that occurred to the property.
Yeah. Well, and then she claims that the electrician told her not to use the electricity in the kitchen because it's illegal and she'll get electrocuted.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, he's an electrician. It would be his job to fix that.
He couldn't leave that open like that. He couldn't leave it like that.
Right. And even like, even
Oh.
when Rudy went over there the other day, the thing with the garage door, you know, this big
Mhm.
security issue, we served her a 24-hour notice, and it was a little more than 36 hours later, he showed up and she wouldn't let him in. She goes, "Oh, well, I haven't looked at it."
Oh my God. I can't. I can't. If you didn't have court tomorrow, I would be running my mouth so bad. But you have court tomorrow, so I'll save my thoughts until tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anything, if anything, the things that she said the other night, I you know, might come back to haunt her. But I have so much on her anyways. You know, I went through and, you know, just like to organize my thoughts, there's 3 pages of lies and discrepancies, you know, like the thing with the garage door and the bees and all of that. You know, she's just
Hmm.
trying to make everything, you know, bigger so that
Oh,
she can
yeah.
get.
Yeah. She's the type of person that gets a sliver and she probably has to go to the ER, get 5 shots of Demerol before, they'll even look at it. Because now her foot needs to be amputated
Right.
when it's just a fucking sliver.
Yeah, I don't know. So it should be interesting, but I just feel like, I don't know, like, I'm not sure that going after Mango on social is like, you know, the best thing, or, you know,
Mm.
whatever. But then it's like, do I really just leave these things out there, you know, and, or what?
I would say if it's not being reported by TMZ, then, like out there in public, then I would probably just, handle it discreetly,
Yeah, but
if that
people,
makes
people
sense.
still hear about it, you
Oh,
know,
I know.
and I don't know, like, we'll see. I mean, I'm thinking about maybe sending all my receipts to somebody and letting them deal with them. But I guess we'll see if he does his follow up video or not. Because, I mean, I can tell you that there's not going to be anything coming out of my mouth that shouldn't.
Mm.
You know, I mean, you can always find ways to take things out of context, but either something is racist or it's not. You know,
Right,
I mean,
right.
so so I kind
That's
of
kind
wish
of,
her, I kind of wish her luck with that one, but you know,
yeah, that's a very pointed. It's just like when Shane Dawson got called a pedophile. It's very pointed. There's certain things that, once they're out there, it's very hard to come back from. You know what I
right?
mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe I would say see what the lawyer says. If the lawyer says, we can probably get him to, take the videos down, shut up about it, then fine. Don't show your receipts to who you need to show them to. But if
Yeah.
there's nothing that can be done, so to speak, to
Right.
get those videos down, maybe you do. Maybe you
No,
do.
I know that he did write a lawsuit. Um, you know, Karen, that's a good point. That meme was disgusting. You should see his husband's Twitter too. It's pretty bad if you haven't seen it. It's pretty
Oh, I
bad.
see. I don't follow him. I really don't.
You don't want to. There's some really disrespectful comments towards women that have definite racial undertones on there.
Oh,
You got to scroll for a second, but it's not hard to find. You know, I mean, a lot of people don't like the president and stuff, but some of the things are over the top, like very I don't know. I mean, I believe that, like, you give a certain amount of respect. You know, if you're not a Catholic, you're still going to give respect to a priest. You know,
absolutely.
and I think you have to give respect on a certain level to people in public office. You know, you don't
Mm.
have to agree with them, and you're certainly allowed to disagree. But I think if you look at his Twitter, you'll see there's some things there that are a little past that.
Oh,
And then
oh,
there's
oh.
stuff,
They,
like I said, if you scroll a little bit, there's worse stuff about directed at certain celebrities. There's comments about Halle Berry and Kourtney Kardashian and some other people.
so he
And
was trying to get clout like way before you. So he's just going after um,
no, this is the
any.
husband.
Oh, and he's what, around our age?
Oh no, he's 58.
Oh, so he's older than us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Oh,
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I saw that that meme about the Asian thing. It was pretty gross. It was something like, I don't know, I married a rich guy, and if he dies, I won't cry. I'll go find another guy, or something like that. It was very disrespectful, very disrespectful. You know, like, can't.
Somebody's asking it. Sin asked, could you hire a PR company and help with your social media?
I can't wait to see your pictures, Karen. Um, yes, but it doesn't really fix the it doesn't really fix the problem. I mean, there's, I mean, I have great people on my social media team. It's just, you don't use the brand to defend things like that. You know what I mean?
No,
Like, that's not, um, that's not what you do.
no,
So,
because your brand is your company, and your company is completely separate from it. As stupid as it sounds, Gerard Cosmetics should be separate from Jen Gerard. You know what I mean?
right,
And
right,
where he's trying to get the clout is he's making them two. He's taking two and making it into one. He's saying,
right,
okay, well, Jen Gerard wears blue shoes, so obviously Gerard Cosmetics must like blue shoes.
right. Well, I mean, he has no regard for the truth anyways. He made up so many things.
Mm.
Like, his version of our conversation is somewhat comical. That he told me it was an interview and anything I said would be used against me. So then why would I say something, nasty about somebody, knowing what you're capable of after just,
Right.
seeing you do that? I mean, it'd have to be pretty stupid. So yeah,
Yes, and
his version of the conversation is very far from how it actually went, of course.
mm-hmm.
But, I mean, and then look at what he did to BTS. I mean, people who have
Which is
those,
disgusting.
it's gross. Like, who does that? I mean, you don't
I
know
don't even know.
what her history is. Maybe she's hiding from an abusive spouse, or, you don't have any way of knowing. And, giving out somebody's information, and not just doing it, but doing it in such a way that, just like when he said that Nick was still on drugs, that look on his face, like he's just enjoying it so much. Is there's something
Right.
there's something, and that's why, like, I can't possibly hate him. Like, we're all child of God. We gotta, we gotta do what we gotta do. But it really makes you feel for somebody who, that's the reality, the truth that they live in. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
scary. It really is.
And I think what a part of it too that I got so upset about, in just with the Nick situation, because Nick is my friend. Like,
Right.
off of social media, he is my friend, and he's been very transparent about his past. He's owned it all. He's made videos about it. He's explained it, numerous times. And
Right.
the fact that somebody wants to sit there and 100% believe that because what, he's a thin, good looking gay man, that all of a sudden he's still doing what he used to. People do grow up and get help and things like that, and move past it.
Right. Well, I find it funny that he can dig things up on the internet about people and use them as their truth, but then when somebody does it to him, they're bullying
It's
him, and it's Scientology, and it's this, and it's that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Scientology is going to come and get him. Like, I wish they would. They need to come pick up their trash. Just come get him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't. I'm pretty sure they don't want him. I talked to somebody who gave me a lot of insight. Somebody who used to do like black bag type stuff for the government gave me a lot of insight about that. And I'm not so sure that the Scientology thing is, what's been put out there with regards to him. Never know.
I I personally don't think that he's ever been stalked, chased. They didn't come and get him. He's really not that much of a liability. Like,
Well,
stop it.
if that's the case, you would think that he would have real empathy for me in my situation. You know, I mean, I told him on the phone that day, I just told him, like, you're too good for that. You're entertaining. I said, I think you and your husband are super cute. I was actually a subscriber of his. I bought a drama poodle mug. And I was like, hey, like, you're too good for that. And you have to promise me you'll never do anything like this again. You contact the person and at least let them, have the opportunity to tell you their side. And he's like, well, I didn't think you would respond.
Well, how
Okay,
would you
well, you're
know?
not wrong.
That's the thing that I like about Peter Mon. Like Peter, he sits there, and if he wants to talk about somebody, he at least gives them the opportunity, because he reaches out, he DMs them, he hits them up wherever he needs to, and he says,
Right.
okay, I'm going to make a video about this. Do you have anything to add? You know,
Yeah.
I think it's, I think for, and I think Sanders does that as well, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah.
I don't watch him. So there's that. Um, but I think that there has to be some type of like give and take, like, hey, I heard this. Do you care to comment? I'm planning on making a video. That shows a lot more character than just sitting there going, well, I read it online, so it must be true. Like, no.
Yeah. Well,
And you want,
I got an anonymous email about it, so it must be true.
right? Yeah. The squirrels came and told me in nuts outside of my window. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I just told him like, you're way too good for that. You have to promise me. I told him like 6 times, you have to promise me you'll never do anything like that again. Because I told him like, I think you can really do something. And that's the thing that makes me nervous about him is that, he is likable and, you know, charming until you see the real him. Obviously the person we're seeing is the real him now, but
yeah.
the persona that he puts out in his videos, doesn't seem quite so mean spirited, vindictive, and nasty as he really is. And so, he's clearly good at manipulation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you watched the video where he was at Trisha's house, but you could see that right there. Ooh, she let that crazy nutbag in her house. Mm-mm.
Well, yeah.
Nope. His friend Trisha. Mm,
Yes. Yes. Well,
no.
I know how that is. Anyways, oh yeah, the nasty drunk stream. So one of the times that we served him with court papers, the one time was on Valentine's Day. He was on live and said he was going to go to the store to get his husband a thing. He's got a gate in front of his house, so they've been sitting out in front of his house but couldn't serve him. So
Ah,
so I texted them and said, yeah, he's said he's going to the store to get his husband a gift card for Valentine's Day, and they were able to serve him outside the house. And then the last
good.
time he was on Hollywood Boulevard getting drunk, and I was sitting in the same place for like 5 or 6 hours and invited all of his followers down. So it was like, hey, he gave us an invitation,
He's
it
not
was really
smart.
good. And
Not
it took
at
a lot.
all.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I
at this
I
point,
feel bad. And I've said this to you before, and I've said it when you were in my side chat. Like, I feel so bad that somebody wants to do this, you know, to such an extreme level. Like, I thought maybe he had conversation with you, maybe he was a friend, maybe he was a follower. Like, I didn't get it. And now that I
yeah,
know, like, that whole interaction was because he made a bullshit video that you actually emailed him, and then there was the interaction.
yeah.
Like, no,
The video
stop it.
was really bad too. It was really bad. I mean, he said that if I wanted to get laid, I should go on Twitter or on Tinder. I'm sorry, and that there's probably lots of guys who would want to bang a CEO. I'm a 50-year-old woman. Like, show me an ounce of respect.
Yeah,
Like that's not the way that you talk to somebody like that, and you don't just make assumptions. Somebody says, "Oh, I was sexually harassed," so you automatically believe that.
right, right. And then sit
I
there and
showed him
make
court
sexual
papers.
comments.
I mean, I showed him court papers to prove everything that I had to say, and clearly he didn't believe me, and this guy didn't show him nothing. So, I mean, I don't know.
Mm-mm. I mean, the only person that can get away with telling somebody that they need to go get fucked is me, and when I speak about Nick. That's it. That's my truth.
Yeah, I mean, it was bad. It was really
No.
bad, and just
And
basically read whatever the guy wrote, and the person's a nutcase. I mean, he's a nutcase.
I can't with him. I can't. And I feel like he's the type of person that would say, "Oh, well, he would believe anything that is kind of fed to him." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Charlotta. That's exactly what happened. I don't think he thought he'd get so much backlash about it. And when he did, he blamed me.
But he's getting the views, so he's getting the paycheck. And then he tried to, I think he was trying to blame you for loss of income because people stopped subscribing or watching his videos. Like, it doesn't work
No.
that way.
Yeah,
Stop it.
I know. I'm responsible for world hunger and everything else too. So, yeah, and everybody's on my payroll.
No, I'm not. I can honestly say that
And I mean,
one.
I felt bad because he really went after Sam and Dustin and Sanders and a couple of other people. I mean, I didn't know Dustin at all, you
Mhm.
know, or Sam, like never conversed with them or anything. They stuck up for me on their own, as did other people. And, I did reach out to them and thank them because I think that's the right thing to do, but,
Right.
um, but I didn't, uh, I certainly didn't put them up to anything. I didn't even know who they were. And, he really went after Dustin, especially, and Sanders super hard.
Well, he's going to go after Sanders because Sanders has the numbers that he wants. Sanders gets the views. Sanders gets the decent paycheck. He doesn't. Like,
Right.
he's not that level. Like, he's not relevant. And the reason, not so much like, all right, so he's going after you so he can get the clout. And then anybody that talks about it, he's going to go after them to get their numbers, their views, and use them in his tags. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
he's trying to get YouTube famous, and he's bad at what he does.
Right. I mean, and then he went after Tawny, and Tawny, I don't think she even stuck up for me at the time, but he went after her because he thought she was sticking up for me, and he went after BTS, you know, and I don't know, like I just I don't like that. I don't like being responsible, being the reason that other people are getting attacked. It's bad enough when it's happening to me, but you don't want that happening, to somebody else who's just tried to do the right thing. And,
Right.
to
Yeah.
me, like that was like the worst part is that, they were getting hate from his people because of that, you know,
Yeah.
just like I'm sure
And
Tanya did a live yesterday, and I'm sure she'll get hate, if she hasn't already, for that. Beth got hate for sticking up for me.
but that's the thing. You have to have all right, now I'm not telling you, how to think or anything like that. But the people that are looking in from the outside, looking at this situation, and they're saying, okay, this is right, this is wrong. And they're saying what is right and what is wrong. And if that airs on your side and they happen to get backlash from Mango and his 5,000 troll accounts, they're okay with it because they're strong enough to be on YouTube. There's people like me, like Tanya, like Nick, like, BTS. We have that backbone where we
Yeah.
don't really care. Like, you can say what you want, but at the end of the day, I shut my computer off and guess what? Poof, it's all gone.
Right.
It doesn't affect my real life. It doesn't affect
Yeah.
my man, my kids, nothing like that. And yes, people's online personalities or personas or reputations hold them. That's what makes us, relevant, so to speak. But at the same time, it doesn't make us who we are. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. And I mean, for me, there's another level to it because I have a brand, and I have employees that I'm responsible for. You know what I mean? Like their families have a roof over their head and eat because of me. So I'm not
Right.
trying to do anything that's going to, mess up their livelihood. But the fact is that this kind of stuff does mess up their livelihood, whether
Well,
you like it or not. Look, these companies are the Urban Outfitters, the Forever 21s, whoever, like, um, if you have your products in Sephora, it's the, would they rather have a brand that has drama or a brand that has no drama?
well, I tell you what though, and not to say, not for nothing, but there's other brands out there that are way more controversial, have had way more problems, and they're making some Jeffree Star money, including Jeffree Star.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's funny too that he's kissing up to Jeffree because Jeffree and I are friends,
Mm,
and if he thinks that that Jeffrey's going to do a collab with him, I think he's lost his mind, you know?
I think Jeffrey would look at him and see the fakeness through and through.
Yeah.
That's just, my personal opinion.
Yeah. Well, we've discussed him briefly, and let's just say he's not Jeffrey's favorite person. So,
Mm.
you know, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, he doesn't care about he feels so bad for the scam artist that's living in my rental property, and but could care less about the people who work for me and their families,
Yeah, because he doesn't see the bigger picture. He doesn't see that it's a ramification. He just sees like, okay, well, if I keep this up, I'm damaging Jen. I'm
Right.
not thinking about the other employees and the people and their family and their children. He doesn't
Right.
think that far ahead.
Yeah.
That's what's disgusting.
Yeah, or maybe he doesn't. He just doesn't care. I don't know, but it's pretty nasty to say that anybody that sticks up for you is on your payroll.
Yeah, well, I want to say very publicly that my check is late from your payroll.
I know. Yeah. No, I'm the queen of free makeup. You know that, right?
Oh, well, yeah, we're
Because
missing that too.
everybody's integrity is for sale for makeup.
No, no, it's not. Speaking of makeup, though, what did you just put on your lips? Because that's pretty.
It's Shimmer of Hope gloss from Jora Cosmetics.
Oh, that's very
Ha-
pretty. It's very
it happened to
summer.
be sitting here. Thank you. Yeah, it happened to be sitting here. My lips are dry. So, anyways, yeah, I think I don't know. He's trying to vindicate himself through Squatter Lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your makeup must be late. You have to talk to the UPS man. I don't know.
I know. He must get delivered by snail mail. But then again, I can't say nothing because I sent out your package. Now I have to send another one. I'm just like, mm-mm. Like me and that mail person, we're not friends. If anything, people can say now that I'm buying you because,
Right? I know. I can't wait to try the wax melts. I'm really excited. I like that kind of stuff. I need honeysuckle. I like honeysuckle.
oh, I will make one. I'm
That's
also
a
going to start.
suggestion.
I'll make one and name it. I'll ask you for the suggestion of the name. It'll be your own little wax melt.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I love that. I love naming things. That's
Hmm.
something I get to do a lot of.
I know. I see. I would suck at that.
Yeah.
Either that or all my stuff would be shady.
But yeah, I mean, I got so many DMs. I was finding like, you know what, I should just like go and just like talk to people and answer questions and kind of let them know because I guess like I didn't see the video, so I didn't know if like I think people were just really confused by the whole thing. So I think she just rambled for like an hour, bashing me right, left, and center. But
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
I don't think people like. I think people had a lot of sue me, baby. I think a lot of people had like they didn't really know what was going on. Like, who is this person? And like
Mm-hmm.
how do you know them? And blah blah blah. So it's like, you know what? Then this way, I don't have to like, I can just kind of tell people all at one time, like what's going on
And
and
that's the
then
things. Which, while we're sitting here talking about that, do you want me to leave this up? That's my
no,
question.
no,
Okay,
yeah.
so
The
you
whole
want me to kill
idea
it?
was to try to keep him out of it because like not that it's not a free country and I can't say whatever I want, but look at
Right.
how he went off because I liked a tweet.
Oh, I know.
You know, can you imagine me
Oh,
actually discussing something like where that would send into? I mean, it's kind of difficult to try not to upset a madman, but
outside talking to the squirrels, thinking that Scientology is coming to get him. He's insane.
yeah.
Like
Thank you,
legit.
Sindhu. You're too sweet. Yeah, I agree. We just like I don't know, like the way he went after Nick, like Nick's like a wind up doll. Just let him go.
I
Oh,
I love when Nick goes when he reads people. Oof, I love it. Love it.
it's a skill. It's a skill.
And he's very good at it.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of hard, Charlotte. I agree. Like, if somebody helps you, but that's what happens, you help somebody and then, like when you say, okay, no, but I have to draw a line somewhere,
Yeah.
you do, as soon as you set a boundary for that person, then all of a sudden you're the a-hole. It's like everybody in this chat has probably loaned money to somebody at some time in their life that hasn't paid them back. And when if God forbid, you ask that person for the money back, then you become the a-hole. I know,
Yep.
because it's happened to
Always.
me hundreds of times. And it's like, here you go.
Always.
Can you give me $1,000? I'll pay you back on Tuesday. And then Tuesday never comes,
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, look, that kind of stuff happens. And, I know like as a brand owner, I expect to be like held accountable for the things that our brand does and stuff like that. But, pick it into my personal life and disrespecting my boyfriend and, making me like relive the biggest like scary nightmare I've ever been through in my entire life. Like that is just not cool.
No,
You know
not
what
at
I
all.
mean? Like you have to draw the line somewhere. And I like some people have made so many videos about me, I can't even count. But, I've never responded to any of it. But this is a person who is dangerous,
Yeah. Yes. Agreed.
you know?
Agreed.
So, I mean, he sent copies of Mango's videos to the investigator from the EEOC
For what?
because he, in his warped mind, feel that all of a sudden it makes the stuff that he says true because it's on the
Oh,
internet.
oh, I see.
Yeah. And there was another girl that he was harassing at the same time as me, and she texted me about a month ago and said that he had texted her out of the blue and told her that while he was in jail they quote found out that he was innocent. And I'm like, okay, because when people go to jail they always keep investigating. And then say, gee,
I
we're sorry,
can't.
you're not, we know you're not guilty, like, sure, but that's I mean, this person's unstable, obviously, and
Obviously.
that's not somebody that you want to give power to.
Mm-mm.
And I don't think
Never. And they,
Patricia is going to, I don't think that she's going to find that all of a sudden jumping back and claiming he's not dangerous and all this stuff is going to be beneficial to her. I don't think she's going to
I
find
don't.
that.
No. I mean, and hopefully, and I don't know the woman, but I hope that she stays safe. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I've done everything I could to protect her and help her. And, I mean, I helped her in her DCFS case so that she could get her kids back. I risked my own safety to go and testify for her,
Right.
you
Right.
know? And I mean, I did that because I had gotten to know her kids and I care about her kids, like that's not
Right.
cool. But
And again, that becomes you as the person, like you just as Jen. You know what I mean? And to sit there and take advantage of your kindness. And I don't understand people like that. You know what I mean? They take care of they take advantage of your kindness, and then what? She goes online, she sees a couple videos that were made by a deranged lunatic with a receding hairline, and she thinks that's where her next payday is going to come from.
yeah, well, she knew about it at the time because I told her about it. When it happened, and it was funny because she came over here and I hadn't seen her in a while, and she came over, we had lunch, and I was like, she's like, well, I want to go and defend you. I said, no,
Mm.
do not, like, don't put yourself in that position because, number one, you can't win,
No.
like, I mean, I don't need people to defend me. And number two, like, what if that makes it so that Sean finds you,
Right.
like, you don't need that.
I don't know. I would say 100 times over, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. Like you are still very kind in the words that you speak. You're not malice with it. You're not, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if it was me, it would be swear after swear after swear, and I'm cursing you and this one, that one, the other. Like it would just be a whole different ball game. And you're just like very
Yeah.
poised and classy, and I respect that. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
I admire that.
Thank you. Yeah,
100%.
I let one slip yesterday, but I don't normally curse.
No,
not my
me,
not my usual thing.
yeah, I'm a truck driver. Like, I'm in
Yeah.
here and I'm just like, because it's just who and how I am.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt my ears when you do it. It only like bothers me when people are super angry and they do it. I try to not, because you take people the way you find them, and you want like people, and I know it sounds stupid. Like I consider all you guys my friends. So it's like, you want friends that are different than you. You don't necessarily want
Right.
people who are just like you. So, I'm not looking to turn people into like, clean mouth old granny like me, but
Well, good, because I'm not there yet. I'm still 10 years younger. So I'll be 40 in October. I'm not there yet. I'm not there to clean up my mouth yet.
Yeah, I think I quit cursing when I was about like 37, 38. But it was because I used to work in a car dealership and I was a sales manager. And so like I had a desk that was right by the door, but my back was to the door.
Mm.
And so I put up a cuss jar, and anytime the salesman would cuss, I'd charge him $1. They never, if you looked in there, you'd find 4 pennies and an IOU on the back of a business card. But it was just because like if they would talk to me like that, then I would talk to them like that. Like I would respond in kind. And what if a customer was walking by with their kids or whatever, like so. But I learned that you can learn how to express yourself a lot more colorfully. And I've
You
kind of,
can.
yeah.
And in all honesty, when I was doing people's taxes and I worked in the business and, I was the face of that business, this was not the person you talk to.
Yeah.
I can have those conversations without, dropping all kinds of swear words all the time. But when I'm at home and I'm in my little room, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's your thing. I mean, I'm just kind of the same all the time, but it's, that's who I am. Thank you so much, Yo Daddy, and thank you, Tanya. You're very sweet. Um, so
Oh, I'll take care of the cussing for you, Tanya. I got you.
yeah, Nick sent me a cuss word. He said something earlier, and I was like, "Thank you for saying," because I was thinking it, but I couldn't bring myself to say it. So
Yeah.
it always helps to have a friend like that. My ex-boyfriend was all full of MFers and all kinds of stuff, and
Same. I can
yeah,
relate, I
his
sit
sister
there and
doesn't cuss either. So
no,
she would call him up. She'd go, "Brother, cuss for me."
my kids do that. My kids, if they're real, real angry, I was like, all right, anytime you guys need, the appropriate swear word, because, my two little ones, I don't let them swear. I said, if you're real, real angry or something, is really, really bothering you and you really need to express yourself in that kind of swear, just point to me and I'll fill in the blank. And my son's done it a couple of times. He'll just look at me and he'll be like,
That's funny. Charlotta,
like,
you're hilarious. She says she turns it off like a switch. Anyway, well, I think we should let everybody get back to their lives and away from all of this garbage.
yes. And I wish you all of the luck tomorrow, which I know you will be, successful in that pursuit tomorrow. And as far as the other one, I really do believe that you're handling it the best way that you can. And I would look into flagging his channel, taking it down, and doing it legally.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I made another report today. Like I said, my attorney's been talking to YouTube for 6 months. They really could care less. But I feel that the allegations are on a new, level. And, it was worth a try. So we'll see. I'm not, banking on anything, but we'll see what happens. Well, thank you so much for just like jumping up and saying, yes, you do this for me. Like, I really appreciate it. I love you. And,
Anytime, girl. I just sit here. If I'm available, if I'm not, busy doing the mom thing or playing with my Instapot, then, my channel is your channel to vent. And I give that opportunity to everybody. It's like, I don't have monetization. I don't have crazy numbers, nothing like that. But if you want to get out, talk, vent, talk to other people, try to get that,
yeah.
that thing, then more power to you.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what you're going to make with the Instapot. It'll be cool.
Ooh, the cooking videos are coming.
I'm excited. Everybody, thank you so much. And I seriously love you. And thanks so much for all the well wishes and DMs and stuff. It really does mean a lot to me. And it does make it easier, you know, just to know that there's people who are using
Understand.
what God gave them. Yes.
Mm-hmm. You got this, girl. You know you got this.
Yeah. I'll let you
But
know what happens tomorrow.
please, please, because I will get a good kick out of that one.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for being here and chatting and being lovely. And I appreciate you all. Jen, thank you so much for coming and talking with me.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye, everybody.